Dr. Byron Cole here, and welcome back to the hot seat. And I'm going to create a series all about the speaking world and speaking industry. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a, first of all, introduction before I get into all that tea and all the hows, the do's, the don'ts, the whys, the won'ts. I wanted to give you a little bit more about my journey and how I stumbled across this $5 billion annually industry. So, if we cast our mind back to 2012, and Bianca went on to the BBC Apprentice, and she came out of the show, and she was already doing personal branding, so she was delivering talks. And she came out of the show, and things just got busier. So it first started with press and PR requests, and when we would get these press and PR requests, I was navigating them and I was like, okay, how do I charge? Do I don't? I was learning on the job. So more than a decade ago. And the inquiries kept coming in, we kept promoting, kept marketing ourselves, we spent money on SEO and we kept pushing the personal branding, which is what she had, as I mentioned, pre-apprentice. And the inquiries were coming in and I was learning on the job, but I had some really core skill sets. I love talking to people and I love sales. And I'm just naturally inquisitive by nature. So I would ask loads of questions. Generally speaking, put me in your business, no matter what the product or service is, I ask loads of questions with the ultimate result of yes or no, you're the right customer or you're the right fit. But ultimately, if there's business to be done, we're doing the business. So I started negotiating deals for Bianca and learning on the job. Bless her. Well, first of all, I negotiate myself a commission. Cool, it still goes in the same pots and the same household, sure. But I'm also motivated by money. And also, I want to make sure that I'm held accountable. This isn't a hobby. This isn't I'm just going to help you out. You're paying me to do a job. When that email comes in, I'm going to get on that bad boy. So the inquiries were coming in. She was investing more in SEO, and I would negotiate the deals. And we've done business with all the biggest brands in the world. Not all, but a lot of big brands that you've heard of. Now, Facebook, Accenture, PwC, American Express, EY, the list is endless. And I started to learn and understand and repackage and reposition. And as you go on the journey, you achieve more accolades, the price goes up, and Bianca would have that awkward conversation to me about price going up. And that's how I stumbled into this arena, first of all, as the professional speaking arena. And then I started growing my business. I was already in business, but I started scaling and exiting, and my businesses were doing really well, becoming award-winning. And then people would ask me to come and speak at their events. So she was doing her talks, I was negotiating her talks, and people were asking me to speak on stage. And in the beginning, if I'm honest, I didn't really enjoy the speaking side of things. It wasn't like, oh my God, I've got to go do a talk and, like compared to where I am now, like I love it. Like if I got to go on stage and move an audience or move a crowd or teach them something, I'm like, yalla, let's go. And my first ever speaking gig was actually my college, John Ruskin. And I look at where I was then to now and how my story has developed and how I can captivate the audience and understand where I can make them laugh and where I can make them smile and where I can take them through that roller coaster of a journey of being a professional speaker. It's quite funny and I'm visualizing my old school right now. And that was my first talk, and then my second talk was an unpaid talk. And hey, listen, I'll do a series about when to charge and when not to charge. And I just didn't know. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know, which is why I love teaching people. Hey, position yourself like this. This is what you charge. This is what you look at. Have your pro bono quota. I'll talk about all these things. Don't worry. I've got it in the series. And I went and delivered the talk, and it was to a small room. And, I think I left them with some value at the very least. In 2026, we have 2 incredible speaker showcases where we will have up to 20 speakers delivering you a keynote. We're talking about mindset, entrepreneurship, and creating shifts in your life. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you are a thought leader, if you are serious about your personal development, click the link below. It is completely free, and I promise you, you will love it. As we started growing businesses together, me and Bianca, there was more opportunities for us to go on stage. Now, it wasn't the way I didn't look at it as we're going on stage. I looked at it as I have an opportunity to market or promote or to sell my products or services. So therefore, we're going on stage. So it was like the business show back in the day. I think they call it the Great British Show or something like that now, or the UK British or something like that. So they've changed the name a few times. That's a whole nother conversation, that show actually. And we started going on stages, started delivering talks, people would come and buy, and it was a really, really interesting kind of journey. So that's how it first started versus doing it then to now where I've traveled to America to deliver a talk. You know, people reach out to me to deliver talks on mindset, on sales and marketing, and my story, my entrepreneurship, or just based on my personal brand. Sometimes they're like, yeah, can you just come and empower my audience? This is what the fee looks like. And I'm like, yalla, no problem. So that's been like the journey, and it's been an interesting one. And if I'm being honest with you, I wasn't doing them consistently. I wasn't like doing talks every week. Unlike Bianca, like I'm booking her out every week, 2 in a day, right? And I wasn't doing them consistently. And the reason why I'm sharing that is because I wasn't entirely like confident in my talk, in my speech, in my delivery, in my output. And only now I don't get nervous. Before you get on stage, there's a bit of nerves, right? Only now I don't get nervous. And it's been a journey, and it's been a fun one. But that's over a decade of doing this, from audiences of 500 to 1,500, or from 50 to 1,500. And different audiences behave differently. You have to use different techniques. You have to use different delivery style, tonal patterns, speed. And even sometimes if the audience is dead, I might get everybody on their feet. Like I have to sense this quickly, and it's just different skill set. But that's how I got into the industry. That's how I got into the market. That's how I got into this $5 billion industry, which is now split between online and in person, because you can deliver talks online now. We never had this pre-pandemic, and you can deliver them in person. And obviously I'm based in the UAE now, but I travel to the UK every single month for training and talks only. And I may even see a friend or two. I don't know, we'll see. But it's mostly for business. I'm coming back to the UK for, if I'm being perfectly honest. So that's my journey, how I got into this world of public speaking, professional speaking, keynote speaking. And I've done talks for schools, colleges, universities, corporates, and there's a difference. There's different types of keynotes, which I'll cover in this series anyway. But I really enjoy that workshop vibe, that workshop feel. But I also love selling from the stage. Many people have bought from me from the stage, right? There's something about that fear of what if no one buys? What if you go on stage, you deliver this talk of value, and you do a call to action. You say, okay, I'm looking for 10 people in this audience who would like to partner with me, work with me, buy from me, take my coaching, take my consultancy, buy my books. Who's interested? And then you just, you're waiting for that moment. So I'm going to teach all of this anyway. I'm going to teach all of this in this series anyway. And you're going to love it. So stay tuned. Let me know if there's anything that you want me to cover, because I've had thousands of calls, booked hundreds of bookings with the biggest brands in the world. I've moved clients from doing a keynote to a brand partnership. So from a 5-figure deal to a 6-figure deal. I've been doing this. And whilst I respect the agents, we can both coexist, right? There's no problem with agents. But when it comes to the agencies, they respectfully have 1,000 Biancas, 1,000 clients on board that they're managing and doing deals for. And now obviously I negotiate deals for my clients, my mentees. And it's a different conversation because I have a pool of currently 61 people, and I know every single one of them by name, by just looking at their face. I know what they do, I know what they talk about, I am involved in what they do. Versus if you go onto any agency website, they have two fundamental problems: volume, number one, and number two, they don't have that personal relationship. They don't know you, and you know what? And so therefore you become just another number. And then last but not least, whilst they don't know you as well, there's a lot of churn. There's a lot of staff churn. Staff are leaving, you've forgotten about, you're another number. Now, there is a place for agencies, and I'm going to talk about that. And I think you should all have agencies as well. Like, don't not get an agency. They serve a place in the market, and actually we've worked with some really good ones. But that's a whole other conversation, and an honest conversation I'm going to have with you guys as well. So stay tuned for this series. It's going to be a really interesting one. I'm going to be talking about everything that you want to know about the speaking industry, good, bad, and indifferent. And if there's any questions, drop them in the comments, drop me a DM. I'll be more than happy to cover it so that you guys can accelerate your speaking journey and take a small slice of this $5 billion industry, because you can share your story. You have one. You can share your knowledge. You have lots of that. You can share your expertise. And sometimes people overthink it. What am I going to talk about? Talk about you. You are the product. But also on the other side of that is, well, actually, you have a product or service to sell. So there's an opportunity. I'm going to be talking about when's the right time to pay to play. If you haven't heard of that, stay tuned. There's so many facets to this speaking industry, because it's not just what comes out of your mouth. There is the business side of this. And obviously we're entrepreneurs, we've bootstrapped, we know how to market, we know how to sell, which is why we're so great at delivering our academy. So stay tuned, lock in. It's going to be an incredible series, and share this with anybody that you think would be interested in elevating their speaking career, or simply communication and presentation skills. Lock in, stay tuned. And if you are at the end of this and you have not subscribed, Chale, come on, just please subscribe. Yeah, it helps me. Like as well, it helps me. Comment as well, it helps me. This will keep me motivated, but also, my American coming out there, not only keep me motivated, it will make sure that the algorithm is picking it up and I stay consistent. And the more that you guys love these videos, the more I'm going to produce. Yeah, and guess how much it's costing y'all? Nothing. So until next time, I'm Mr. B Self-Made on the hot seat, giving you the tea and crumpets.